Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Come along and watch how I made this beautiful twin cake. So first I applied some buttercream on my board and then I began to place my cake layers. Once I placed my cake layers, I trimmed off the top. I trimmed off the top until the cake layer was leveled enough. And once I was done trimming the top, I began to apply buttercream on each cake layer. I will repeat this process with the next cake layer until I do the same with all the cake layers available. For today's cake layers, I'll be making use of vanilla and chocolate. And for this cake decoration, I'll be using 2 layers of vanilla and 2 layers of chocolate. You could tell that this cake is insanely yummy from just me trimming off the excesses from the layers. And then here I'll add on the last layer, which is the chocolate cake layer. And of course, this is a 10-inch sized cake. This is a 4-layer 10-inch cake. I'll trim off the excess on the sides so as we could have a straight cake. At this stage, I take it a little bit at a time while I trim. I'm taking a close look at the cake so as I do not trim in excess. And then the next stage is to crumb coat. I'll crumb coat the entire cake until every area is well coated with the buttercream. This is to help lock in the crumbs. I'll repeat this process until everywhere is properly covered or until everywhere has been coated in order for the crumbs to be locked in. Crumb coating is really important in cake decorating as it helps keep our cake design crumbs free. So that is why I always do this. I take this stage really important. So once I'm done crumb coating, you remember it's a twin cake, so I'm going to cut the cake into half. or rather cut the cake into two before I begin my decorations. Once I get to equal parts, I'll split it open and then I'll begin to do all the necessary decorations. And this is what our cake looks like from the inside. Yummy, right? So I'll go ahead and crumb coat in between the cake, because you remember we crumb coated the outer side, and so it is just right to also crumb coat the inner sides as well. Once I'm done crumb coating the inner side, I will begin to cover the top of the cake. I'll apply buttercream on both sides of the cake, and make sure to spread it evenly until it comes out smooth and flat on the top. Once I'm done with the top of the cake, I'll begin to apply generous amounts of buttercream inside the cake. I'll apply this until the inner side of the cake is well covered and ready to be smoothened out. At this stage, I was a little bit stressed out, but I kept going because I needed to execute this cake. So I kept going until I got the required result. After I'm done with the first one, I moved on to the second one and I began to repeat the process. At this stage too, I'm applying generous amounts of buttercream inside the cake. to enable it have an even spread. Once I'm done applying buttercream, I'll use my smoother to smoothen out the inner side of the cake. And I'll repeat this process until I get a clean and smooth side. I'm doing the same thing with the cake on the opposite side. Once I'm done smoothing the inner side, I will begin to apply buttercream on the outer side of the cake. I'll apply generous amounts of buttercream until the cake is properly covered. The 10-inch cake is quite a big cake, so it consumes a lot of buttercream. And then, but we'll keep going and adding generous amounts until we get the required amount of buttercream for our cake. Because once you apply your buttercream in large amounts, it's easy to smoothen out your cake. While decorating this cake, I came across some cake crumbs and I was removing them. It is important to remove the excess cake crumbs on your cake to give it a good finish. So now I'm done applying the buttercream onto my cake and then I'm smoothing it out. I'll do this process, or I'll repeat this process until my cake is neatly smoothened out. So here I exchanged my smooth nut to a longer one, so as it will smoothen the sides of the cake with ease. When smoothing your cake, it's okay to go around your cake for as many times as you need to in order to get a really smooth buttercream cake. And so that is what I'm doing here. I went over it a couple of times in order to get a smooth finish. Once I'm done, I'll now begin to smoothen out the top of the cake. I'll use my palette knife and remove the excess buttercream on top of the cake. At this stage, my cake is almost ready, but of course, not ready yet. I need to make the top leveled enough. And then I added the buttercream there, and then I'll smoothen it out. And I'll look out for other imperfections, and wherever there are imperfections, I'll recoat buttercream there and smoothen it out. At this stage, the next thing I'll do is to add our drips to the cake. So since it's a twin cake, it's a cake for twins, and the twins, a boy and a girl. And so for the boy, we're using blue, and for the girl, we're using light pink. Once I pour my drip onto the cake, I'll spread it out so as it covers the entire top. I decided to use my palette knife to enable me to spread it properly. In areas where it's not properly covered, I'm just trying to push it towards such areas so that it could be properly covered. And once I'm done spreading it out, I'll add some drips, some descending drips down on the cake. And at this point, the power was out and I had to keep recording because, guys, I cannot leave you guys halfway. I had to make do with the little light I had, and I kept filming because I wanted you to see every step of what I was doing. So I just couldn't turn up my phone because the lights went off. I made do with the little light that I had, and I kept going because you needed to see this. After I was done with the blue, I now headed on to the light pink. I also repeat the same thing here. I'll spread it out. I'll spread it out until it gives me some good amount of drips. And then what I'll do next is to add some sprinkles onto the top of the cake. I'll add sprinkles on both sides. Once I'm done adding sprinkles, I made some candy toppers, and then I'll drop them over the cake and then to form my entire cake decorating toppers. So most of the toppers were made out of fondant. I randomly place it round the cake, round the top of the cake. Until I've exhausted my toppers. Then the next thing I'll add is some fondant candy tops. And then some lollipop as well. We'll go into the cake and I'll place all of them onto the cake like so. Once I'm done placing the blue area, I'll move to the next cake and I'll repeat the process. I'll put the same kind of toppers there, and guys, our cake is almost done. I would say that our cake is 95% done. Or if not 98% done. Once I'm done placing my toppers, guys, this cake is already looking beautiful, and of course I'm going in and adding more sprinkles. And I'm really sorry that I had some power outage, and that is what happens sometimes. We're in Nigeria and this happens sometimes, so you need to pardon me, but I promised myself I'll finish this recording for you guys so that you would see how the cake turned out and you will know how it was done from start to finish. So if you enjoy this cake, please give me a thumbs up. Tell me where you're watching from, because guys, I would love to know. Tell me where you're watching from, and also give me suggestions on what cake decorating videos you would want me to do next, because guys, I'll be willing to try them all. If you find this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends to also subscribe. Thanks for watching.